Chapter 11. In the Face of the Enemy.
"You're a runner, just like me."
"But I'm not," Logan answered. "I guess I never was." Logan and Jessica found some stairs going from the platform up to the street. They had to be careful. Francis must be there, waiting for them. Francis's skill and intelligence made him an enemy to fear. Logan told Jessica to wait below and silently climbed the stairs. The only sounds were birds and animals. It was safe, for now.
"Jessica,"
he called softly. He watched her as she came up the stairs. She looked tired but so beautiful. She was still young. Why should her life end now? It was unfair. They tried to find their way through the trees and plants. It was difficult to move in the terrible heat. They came to a clear area, and above the trees they could see the top of the Capitol building, the home of the old government. "Ballard is probably there," said Logan. Suddenly, there was a terrible noise. It was coming from the trees. A huge wild cat jumped out at them. Logan shot the needler. It flew into the wild cat's back. The cat went crazy, turning around and around. Logan shot again, using vapor this time. A cloud of gas flew toward the animal and drove it away. When they finally got to the Capitol building, Jessica fell onto the steps. Her face and arms were cut and bloody. Logan helped her up, and they went inside. Plants grew everywhere. The windows were broken, and they couldn't see the floors through the dirt. They sat against the wall, too tired to speak. Jessica put her head on Logan's shoulder. It felt so good to rest. She didn't want to think. But they couldn't stay there long. It wasn't safe. Every time they heard a strange noise, they jumped.
"If Francis doesn't kill us, an animal will," said Jessica. "What are we going to do?"
"The only thing we can do," answered Logan. "I know Ballard's here, somewhere. We have to find him." They left the building and moved through the shadows outside. The evening sky grew dark, and it began to rain softly. The rain became harder and harder until it was a violent storm. Jessica cried out,
"Ballard can't be here. No one can live in this place."
Logan suddenly stopped. "Listen, the cat. He's back." He took out his gun. He only had his Homer and a tangler left. A Homer wasn't any good for this, so he decided to try the tangler. They started moving again, as quietly as they could. They could hear the animal following them through the high grass. And then, through the trees, Logan saw a light. It was shining from a broken window in another large building. "Ballard must be there," Logan said with excitement. The rain stopped. They moved out of the trees and walked slowly toward the steps of the building. When they got to the steps, Logan shouted, "Run!"
"I can't,"
Jessica shouted, but Logan pulled her behind him. The cat ran out of the shadows. Suddenly, it was in the air, coming for them. Logan shot the tangler. The net flew around the cat's body, and it crashed down onto the steps. It was moving around, trying to cut into the net with its teeth. The net went deeper and deeper into its neck. Its angry noises filled the air as it tried to get free. It tried to jump up and fell back, onto Logan's leg. He shouted in pain. A man was standing in the doorway above them. He didn't move. He just stood there, watching. Then he came forward, out into the light, and Jessica saw him. He had gray hair and the lined face of an old man. "Ballard!" she shouted. He was very tall and dressed in dark blue. He didn't speak. He had a gun in his hand, but he didn't shoot. "Kill it!" shouted Jessica. He didn't look at Jessica. He didn't reply. Logan's gun lay on the steps. He walked over to it and kicked it away. Suddenly, the cat gave one last long cry and fell onto the steps, dead. Logan slowly pulled his leg out from under the animal. Ballard didn't help him. He just stood there, with his gun pointed at Logan. "What are you doing?" cried Jessica. "That animal almost killed him." Logan slowly got up, and Ballard's gun followed him. "You can't shoot him. He's a runner," shouted Jessica. "He saved my life."
"He's also Logan 3, a Sandman," answered Ballard calmly.
His fingers started to move. Jessica jumped at him and started hitting him. Ballard threw her from him, but Logan was already escaping. He ran into the building and tried to find a hiding place. Ballard shot at him, but missed. Logan had to do something. He felt in his pockets and found one last pack of muscle. His body was very weak now. This was dangerous, but he had to try. He felt the fire as the drug filled his body. He began shaking violently. He was huge. He filled the room. He moved easily toward Ballard. Nothing could stop him now. He calmly took Ballard's gun and pushed him outside.
"Oh, Logan!"
Jessica cried when they came out. Logan could feel the drug leaving him now, but he looked strong. His eyes were on Ballard.
"Tell him,"
said Jessica.
"Tell him he's wrong. You're a runner, just like me."
"But I'm not," Logan answered. "I guess I never was." Ballard's right. The color left Jessica's face. "I'm going to kill you," said Logan. "I have to kill both of you." Logan looked at the red flower in Ballard's right hand. "I don't understand. You've lived 2 lifetimes, and the flower is still red. How have you done that?"
"Okay, I'll tell you," Ballard answered with a small smile. "It can't make any difference now. Something went wrong in the nursery when I was born. There was a problem with the flower that I was given. I didn't realize until I was 21. It didn't change to black. I lived while others around me died.
Logan stopped him. "That's all I needed to hear," he said. "I've always wanted to know." Then he turned and shouted, "Francis!" Ballard turned to Jessica.
"He's a Sandman. It's his life. He has to do this. But he'll never find the others, the runners in Sanctuary."
"Then there really is a sanctuary?" Jessica asked him. "A place where people can grow old? Have children? Live together?"
"Yes."
"Francis! Over here!" shouted Logan again, but still there was no answer. "When you're dead," Logan said to Ballard, "it will be the end of Sanctuary." He lifted his gun. One shot from the Homer meant the end for both of them. "Goodbye, Jessica."
"Goodbye, Jessica,"
he said softly.
"I have to do this."
But his hand was like stone. He couldn't move his finger. He tried to shoot, but his muscles locked. He could only see Jessica's face, the pain and sadness in her eyes. He fell back against the wall. The gun hung from his hand. He was making strange sounds, but no words came out.
I knew he couldn't do it, Jessica said to Ballard. It's okay now.
You're wrong, said Ballard. Half of him wants to run, to live, but half of him wants to destroy us and Sanctuary. I can't tell you which half will win. You're not safe. You'll have to continue alone.
But I love him. Jessica was crying now. You can't ask me to leave him.
You must continue alone.
Ballard's voice was hard now.
Listen to me. The last stop is Cape Steinbeck.
He checked the time.
You have 28 minutes to get there. If you're late, they'll leave without you. You must go. You'll find a Maze car at the platform near Capitol Hill. Now go.
He turned away from Jessica and started to go to Logan. But Jessica hit him hard on the back of the head and knocked him to the ground.